Greetings, all of you. You're welcome to today's class. Today, we are looking at a very interesting topic, and that's the classification of plants and the diversity of the plants. Okay, so we look around us. Plants are not strange creatures around us. It's not a strange topic. We look around us, we can see plants here and there. So, what are the things you can say about plants? Plants can be defined as the living organism that belong to the kingdom of plantae. You know, biologically, we have two main broad classifications of living organisms. We have kingdom plantae and kingdom animalia. But furthermore, scientists discover that some organisms, they don't perfectly fit in as plants, like they don't have all the characteristics of plants. Then they equally don't have all the characteristics of animals. Then some have some of that of plants and some have some of that of animals. So it led to the 5 kingdom classifications, which includes kingdom animalia, kingdom plantae, kingdom monera, kingdom fungi, and kingdom protista. Okay, so that's by the way. Today we are focusing on the kingdom plantae. What are plants, like I asked before? Plants, they are the living organisms that belong to the kingdom of plantae. They are mostly multicellular, and they mainly have chlorophyll for producing their own food. So they are mostly autotrophs. But then not all plants have these characteristics. Not all plants have chlorophyll, and not all plants are autotrophs. Autotrophs are organisms that can make their own food. Okay, so based on their complexity, this brings us to the complexity of plants. We mentioned that some are multicellular, some are unicellular. You know, multicellular is when they are made up of many cells. Unicellular, they have just one cell. So the unicellular plants are known as the lower plants, and then the multicellular plants are known as the higher plants. Okay, so based on complexity of plants, which is talking about either there is the presence or the absence of some specialized tissues. So we have classification of plants into 2 major groups. We have the lower plants and then the higher plants. So what are the lower plants? The lower plants, they are those plants that do not possess true roots, stems, roots, and vascular tissues. Lower plants are those plants that do not have true roots. They don't have stems, true roots. They lack true roots, stems, and leaves, as well as the vascular bundles. So what are the vascular bundles? They are the xylem and the phloem. They are the tissues that are responsible for the transport of mineral salts, water, and manufactured food. So lower plants, they lack true roots, stems, roots, leaves, and the vascular bundles or the vascular tissues. So under the lower plants, we have the various divisions. We have the various divisions of the lower plants. We have the division known as the Thallophyta or the Thallophyte. We have the Thallophyta or the Thallophyte. What can you say about them? The Thallophytes, their body is not differentiated. The body of Thallophytes are not differentiated into stem, roots, and leaves, and they are mostly aquatic plants. Should I take that again? Okay, so Thallophytas or the Thallophytes, they are form of lower plants that lack their body lacks what, or their body is not divided into stems, leaves, and roots. So under the Thallophytes, what are the groups of plants you can find there? You can find the algae. And what are the algae? We have the Spirogyra, we have the Chlamydomonas, and we have the ulna. Okay, so having known that the Thallophyta, remember we are talking about lower plants, and under lower plants we mentioned one of the divisions as the Thallophyta. The next division of lower plants we are going to talk about are the Bryophyta. What are Bryophyta or the Bryophytes? They are non-vascular plants. They are non-vascular plants. That means they lack the vascular tissues of xylem and phloem. So the Bryophytes, they are the non-vascular plants. They possess rhizoid instead of true roots. They have rhizoid in place of roots. And then The plants we can find in bryophytes are plants like mosses and the liverwort. These bryophytes, they are seen as amphibians of the plant kingdom. Remember, generally in animal kingdom we have the amphibians. They have the double lives, life on in water and life on land. So for that of plants, bryophytes are considered the plant amphibians. Why? Because they grow and they reproduce mostly in moist places. So let's run through lower plants again. Plants again. What are the characteristics I've mentioned so far about lower plants? One of them is that they lack vascular bundles. These are the general characteristics of lower plants, be it bryophyta, be it thallophyta. They lack vascular tissues. They are mostly aquatic and they reproduce mainly by spore formation, where folds and the spores are reproductive units. So when they get matured, they ripe and burst. From there they get dispersed and then they germinate into another plant. Okay, so we have talked about one classification of plants, the lower plants. Now let's go to the higher plants. The higher plants, they are the plants that have, it's just the opposite of the lower plants. So the higher plants, they are the plants that have true roots, they have stems, they have leaves, and then they have the vascular bundles. Is that okay? All right, so here now we have some divisions. They have the following divisions under higher plants. Number one of the division is what? The pteridophyta. The pteridophyta. Okay, for the pteridophyta, they possess true roots, stems, leaves, but they lack seed or flowers. Should I take that again? The pteridophytas, they have true roots, stems, and leaves, but they are not seed-bearing plants. They lack seed, they lack flowers. Then the other division of the higher plants are the spermatophyta. The spermatophyta, they equally possess true roots, stems, and leaves. They possess true roots, stems, leaves, the vascular bundles as well, but they are seed-bearing plants. They are the seed-bearing plants. So take note, between the bryophytes and the spermatophytes, both of them are higher plants. Both of them have true roots, stems, leaves, and roots. They have it. But for the pteridophyta, they lack seed and flowers. But for the spermatophyta, they have the true roots, the leaves, the stems. In addition to that, they are seed-bearing plants. So in the spermatophyta, it has subdivisions. It has subdivisions as follows. One of the divisions of the spermatophyta are the gymnosperms. The gymnosperms. So gymnosperms are the subdivisions of the spermatophyta, or you can say gymnosperms are higher plants that have naked seed. They are the naked seeded plant. That are the gymnosperms. Here you can have some plant like the pine. Then the other ones are the angiosperms. The angiosperms, they are higher plants that they produce flowers. They have enclosed seed. Remember, the gymnosperms, they have naked seed, but the angiosperms, they have enclosed seed. Their seeds are enclosed in fruits. You can have examples of gymnosperms. We have maize. So what are the general things you have learned about higher plants? Or what are the general classifications you can give for higher plants? Number one, like I said, they have true roots, they have stems, they have leaves. They have, number two, they have vascular bundles or vascular tissues, which are the xylem and the phloem. Then they reproduce mostly by seed formation. They reproduce mainly by, seed reproduction is a form of sexual reproduction. So they reproduce by seed. Then they are better adapted to land habitats as against the lower plants. The lower plants are mostly aquatic plants, but the higher plants, they are mostly terrestrial plants.
Quiz.